This morning we're going to go ahead and plant some Larkspur. This is also known as delphinium. I want to get these going so that I can plant them out as early in the spring as possible, because it gets way too hot here for them in the warmer weather unless they're pretty well established. So we're going to go ahead and give it a try. I did these a few weeks ago and nothing came of it because I forgot to put them in the freezer first for a little bit to help the seeds at least be tricked into thinking that it was winter. So we're going to go ahead and get these going. You can join me. I got these little seed starting pots. Usually I use a few different ones, but this one I got from Pop Shelf. And what I like about it is that I can actually throw it right into the ground with the seeds and all, and they'll biodegrade in theory. So we'll try that one today and see how we do over the next few weeks. All right, so we're through the first hurdle. Now I'm gonna fill this tray of the cups, and I know it looks like I'm cooking. I'm not, I promise. I'm just doing some gardening. What I'm going to do is fill each of these little cups up about 2/3 of the way. I like to use potting soil so that there's some really good nutrients, but I will start the top off with just some seed starter soil. So my thought in that process is that gives it the good drainage that it needs on top, but as those roots grow down, they get into the soil that will give them some more nutrients. So that's just my simple way, rather than having to pot them out after they start to sprout. It gives me a little bit more time. It's a little bit easier. So I'll take a little more time up front so that I don't have to do nearly as much work afterwards. So here's something I just figured out and I'm super excited about. I'm using my knockoff Hori Hori to scoop the soil out because it's not very much. And look at that. A lot less mess than if I use a shovel. And it's the perfect amount. So cool little thing I just figured out. So I am going to take a moment and just talk about this tool. Like I said, it's not a Hori Hori, it's a knockoff, but it works the same way, and it is absolutely my favorite thing for planting bulbs. I just dig it into the ground, pry it back, and I can throw my bulbs in without any more effort than that, and then bend it back, pat the soil down. Super simple. It's great if I have to dig something out, roots, whatever. My favorite tool. I will definitely recommend having this. I know it looks a little Halloween, like I'm doing some damage or something, but I'm not, I promise. So I'm kind of wrapping it up here. Didn't make you sit here through the entire ordeal. How boring would that be for you? Okay, so I've got the first layer of garden soil, and now I'm just going to sprinkle. I use Miracle-Gro seed starter. Again, you can use whatever brand you want. I am not brand loyal. They don't give me anything, so use whatever you like. But what's really good about this is that it is set to let your seeds get a really good start in life, so I recommend it. Now, I'm not doing anything special with this. I am literally just grabbing it by the handful and sewing it on the top of each of these cups, and then I'll just go in and sprinkle seeds, and you'll see that in a moment. But this does give the seeds the very best chance of getting started and established. Of course, we are going to need to add some water to make sure that they have enough hydration to take root. So, you know, are you really even gardening if you're not looking like that? I don't think so. You gotta get a little messy. I am giving these a pretty good layer of soil on top, so I want to make sure they have enough room to get those roots through that first layer and into the healthy soil. All right, so I got my seeds from Eden Brothers. You do want to read the label. I like theirs because they're very easy to follow. By planting these out in fall in the seed starters. Now here, I'm in zone 8A, as I've told you before. I can get these into the ground a lot earlier than I could when I lived up north. But this will give me a chance to protect them if we have a major freeze, but I can still get them going. So I use a greenhouse, which I don't technically have a greenhouse. I use my garage because it has south-facing windows. I just throw all my plants in there. I don't use a grow light because they get enough sun over the winter months anyway. So that's what we're gonna do. So next I'm gonna throw my seeds into the packets, or seeds into the cups, and you can see what happens. Okay, so these are a little tiny seed. I find it easiest to just put them in my hand because it gives me better control. I'm going to put 2 to 3 in each of the cups here, and then we'll check back in a few weeks and see how it goes. Hang with me here. 2, 3. I can definitely feel them. They're large enough for that. So one thing, you do want to wash your hands really well when you're done with this, because delphinium and larkspur are a poisonous flower. So certainly don't eat the seeds. It's just a general recommendation not to eat flower seeds anyway, right? Okay. When I get done with this, I am just going to sprinkle another layer of soil on top, because these do not need sun to start. They prefer about 1/8 of an inch of soil over the top of them. So that's what I'm going to be doing next here. I still have quite a few seeds, but I don't want to sow anymore, because if you crowd them, they're not going to come up. You'll have to pull them out anyway. Most likely they're not going to do much. So I am going to fold these up and store them. And what I might do is supplement these with some more in a few weeks, so that I can get the larkspur coming up at different times. If you plant them all out at the same time, they'll all be on the same bloom schedule. Whereas if I wait a few weeks and plant out another batch, I might be able to get them coming up at a little bit different time. Okay, last step before I place them into the greenhouse is just to make sure that I water them well. I want to water very slowly, because I don't want to saturate the seeds or to have them flow all into one spot together where they'll crowd each other out. So last step, not difficult. Certainly these are in a tray, so if I do splatter a little bit, not the end of the world. There we go. Now these are just going to go down to the garage greenhouse, where we will store them for the next few weeks. Probably we'll see how it goes, and we'll decide when it makes sense to bring them out. Really not sure what kind of winter we're going to have, so we'll play it by ear. So here you can see 1 week later, I'm in the greenhouse, and we have some little seedlings. Yay!